So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining with us. I'm Shubhradar Sarkar. I'm the coordinator of NANO Global Project. So I will start with this short presentation. So I'm the coordinator of NANO Global Project, and we have Dr. Lilian Krug with us. She is the scientific coordinator of POGO. Those who are not aware about NANO is NFPOGO, that is Nippon Foundation Partnership for Observation of the Global Ocean Alumni Network for the Ocean. So this is a alumni network with the participants who received trainings from different training programs of POGO, and our mentors are also the member of NANO. The objective of this network is to maximize the benefits and extend the opportunities beyond the NFPOGO trainings. We have different types of activities. For example, we have networking activities, we have joint research project, and we have outreach activities. And this NANO project is one of the research project of NANO. So the NANO, the full form of NANO is a global study of deoxygenation, ocean acidification, and productivity at selected sites. So the objective of this project is to support in situ and promote satellite remote sensing observation of essential oceanographic variables at different coastal sites, conduct local analysis and inter-site comparative analysis, producing global result. We also organize capacity building activities, and we also arrange outreach and citizen science-based activities. At this moment, we have more than 36 sampling sites from 18 different countries of Asia, Africa, and Latin America. And each sampling site, we have sampling site representatives, and these sampling sites representatives are the member of NANO. So these sampling site representatives, they are responsible for conducting samples and conducting outreach and citizen science-based activities in their sampling sites. This webinar is part of the outreach activity of NANO Global Project. So in this outreach activity, in this webinar, we invite researchers around the globe to present their research on marine science so that we can enhance our capacity in ocean research. So today we have Professor Dr. Gawsia Wahidunnessa Chowdhury from Department of Zoology of Dhaka University, Bangladesh. And today she will talk about plastic pollution research and outreach activities in Bangladesh, global, regional, and local initiatives. Professor Dr. Gawsia Wahidunnessa Chowdhury is a distinguished academic and researcher in zoology, specializing in wetland ecology. She earned her PhD from the University of Cambridge and currently leads the plastic pollution research unit with the Aquatic Zoology Group at the University of Dhaka. Dr. Chowdhury has been widely recognized for her work, receiving awards such as the Commonwealth Academic Staff Scholarship and 2022 OWSD-Elsevier Foundation Award for Early Career Women Scientists. Her achievements include leading Bangladesh team in National Geographic Society's Sea to Source Ganges River expedition from 2019 to 2021 and ongoing conservation efforts for threatened species and habitats in Bangladesh. Dr. Chowdhury serves as a board member of WildTeam and was appointed regional co-chair of the South Asian Invertebrate Specialist Group. In 2023, she was recognized by Asian Scientist magazine as one of Asia's top 100 scientists. Recently, she received the Dean's Award, Research Award for Outstanding Research and joined the editorial board of Cambridge Prisms Plastics. Thank you, Professor Chowdhury, for accepting our invitation. And before we go to our presentation, just a few information for all participants. So we will record this webinar, and then we will upload this webinar in our YouTube channel. So if you don't want to be recorded, you can switch off your camera. And this webinar has two sections. In first segment, we'll have 30-minute talks from our speaker, and then after talk, we'll have a question and answer session. So if you have any question, you can raise your hand or you can just write in the message box. Thank you. Over to you, madam.
Yeah, hello,
Thank you.
everyone. I'm really honored to be part of this event today. Thank you, Shubroto, for introducing me. And for me, Nano, Pogo, and Shubroto is like synonymous to me. So thank you, the organizer. And today, I'm going to start with a story how a global initiative can help local scientists for contributing environmental protection. So I'm going to start with the story. At the beginning, I would also love to share my sincere gratitude to the partners who actually supported our work financially. And some of you were aware about these photographs, like globally, plastic pollution is posing a significant threat to the aquatic ecosystems, and we are all like connected with this planetary threat. And like we know that rivers carry plastic waste and send it right out to sea. But how does this plastics and other litter get into the river, into the like a first site? So I'm going to start with a story. Like I was really fortunate in 2019 to be the country lead of a National Geographic expedition up the and it was like a like with this initiative, we our goal was to really understand how much plastic pollution is coming from the rivers to the ocean, and we tried to measure that empirically. We tried to look at the sources of plastics, types of plastics, loads, and how it flows through the system. So it was National Geographic Society's largest female-led team, and the interdisciplinary team. In this interdisciplinary team, the members were from Bangladesh, India, USA, UK, and Canada. And we had anthropologist, environmental engineer, biologist, ecologist, technology expert, conservationist with us. And we traveled the 10 study sites twice in a year. So I was actually describing the global team who actually inspired us to work for mitigating plastic pollution. So I already mentioned the team composition, like how many people we were in a group, and this global team, we had the small groups. Like we had a land team, and this slide shows like different methods and how we collected data, like how we did arrange the litter transit, and then the photo quadrant survey on the land across the study sites. And we had a water team, and we measured different parameters, like we collected sediments, water sample. We also did collect air sample. We did arrange the riverbank survey, and also how we are collecting air sample. These slides in the right side. So, and also we had a socioeconomic team, like we interacted with the people who directly or indirectly depend on the Ganges, and we interacted with those people through key informant interview, household survey, focus group discussion, and also in the post-monsoon season, we arranged some solution workshop in each study sites. Like we selected 10 study sites, and in each study sites, we arranged a solution workshop. And as I mentioned, like we had technology expert, and we used our innovation to track the plastic along the Ganges. And why we selected Ganges? Because Ganges is one of the iconic transboundary and also one of the most polluted rivers in the world. So we used our technology and tools to motivate people, and also to measure the intensity of plastic pollution along the Ganges. And as I mentioned, we had socioeconomic team and we interacted with the people. We actually interacted the people and community, and following the community commitment, we designed our conservation education program, which we termed as Teachers for Planet Earth. And through this education program, we actually reach more people, more students, at the same time teachers. In this education program, we arranged different education materials. We engage students using the science-based facts, like the how is a global scenario, is a emerging threat, and what should we do to reduce plastic pollution? What are the three factors? So we explained all these things, and we also, teachers were there with the students, and at the end of the event, teachers received some education materials, and when they go back to their own institution, they actually arrange their own the conservation education program, Teachers for Planet Earth. So through this outreach activities, we actually formed a huge teachers network. So when we are doing science, at the same time, we are using this platform to spread our science-based facts through community engagement, through this teachers network. These are like now I will show some of the science facts that we developed or published through our C2 source Ganges River expedition work. Like we reviewed the literature published from 2006 to 2019. Why we did it? Because we've observed at the beginning, we observed that Bangladesh ranks 10th globally in terms of the levels of mismanaged plastic waste. But when we search the literature, it was not that it was not sufficient. So Ganges is one of the most polluted river, like second largest amount of plastic to the ocean it released, but only one report exists on this mighty river. So we did a literature review, and we compared, like in Global South, we selected three other countries to compare, and we found like Bangladesh and actually the Global South received less attention for scientific expedition, scientific research, or with Global South countries in Global South actually received less fund to do science, to conserve the aquatic systems, or to do some research on plastic pollution. So we also identified some key areas in this review, and I will show how we designed our own project depending on those identified areas. And this slide shows, like we used open source technology, and like we have a circuit inside the bottle. Like we actually designed the satellite bottle tag, and all the methods, and how you can develop your own satellite bottle tag to track your own plastic in your own place, is everything clearly mentioned in the C2 source method toolkits. You can go through and develop your own project. This slide shows how the design of a satellite bottle tag, how we used it. It has a inbuilt circuit. Also, it has a mobile phone SIM, and the bottle tag were designed like considering the shape, size. We're going to see to replicate a PET bottle, like a 500 ml water bottle. So we tracked about like a bottle in 94 days time. It was highest, like it traveled 2,845 kilometer distance. And in another study, we measured the abundance and characteristics of microplastics in the surface water, and we found that higher concentration in like in pre-monsoon season than the post-monsoon, and also majority of microplastics were we measured as the fibers, and remaining were fragments. And also we estimated that like every day in the Ganges, the Brahmaputra Meghna River basin, it is like 1 to 3 billion pieces of microplastics are released every day. In the slide, like the sites were mentioned in the first photograph, and then the intensity in pre-monsoon and post-monsoon, like microplastic concentration point size indicate actually the relative concentration. And this slide shows the mean microplastic concentration. And here in this slide, you can see the polymer composition in pre-monsoon and post-monsoon, and it is visible that rayon was more dominant. And we actually measured these parameters from the surface water. And this slide shows how our land team track the macroplastic, and we characterize the macroplastics, and we identified the leakage in the Ganges River basin. And over 75% of litter items were plastics or multi-material items, and we identified that most single-use plastic consumer products were manufactured in our country, but approximately 40% or 40% of brands were owned by international companies, and about 85,000 liter items were identified in both the seasons, and majority were single-use plastics. This slide shows the location, and this slide shows the liter densities in our service sites comparing with the population. And these slides actually registered the different items, like a proportion of the most common plastic items we identified using the marine debris tracker. It was an app developed by University of Georgia team, and our team also assessed the distribution and characterization of macroplastics in air, surface water, and sediment within these major river systems. And you can see, like, from the source to the sea, the intensity of is increasing with the population density. And you can see, like, the different environmental mediums, how it is concentration we measured. And this slide shows the microplastic length across the location and the environmental mediums like sediment, water, air, and these stacked bar plot showing the proportional contribution of microplastic polymer medium. And then this slide shows proportional contribution of microplastic colors. Like, we measured the variable like color, size, and the composition, polymer composition in different mediums. And these are the photos from that study. We also did a riverbank service for identifying fishing debris, and at the end of the survey, we identified fisheries as a major source of river and plastic pollution. And we these slides will show you the insights from the Ganges. Like, we did arrange a riverbank survey. We arranged socioeconomic surveys of fisher communities to understand the drivers of gear input, and also we did arrange a secondary literature review to assess the biodiversity threat. And this slide shows, like, the abandoned, lost, and otherwise discarded fishing gears we encountered during the survey. Like, we identified ropes, nets, and then strings, and then floors, and then the fishing line. This slide shows the intensity, like the frequency of occurrence of gear type, and then the volume of gear type, and the heat map is showing their intensity along different sites. And this violin bar plot is showing the like the mesh size and the location, and also this stacked bar plot shows the gear type and their percentage and polymer composition and distance from the sea. And this slide shows the percentage of gear type, gear replacement frequency, like how we arranged some net shop survey and during the expedition in both the seasons, and we found, like, how frequently they replace their gear. And the outcome is also in the photographs. And the threat assessments, the survey, we did arrange, as I mentioned, the literature review, and you can see the result. And all these methods I mentioned are captured, and like how much you need, how much money you need to develop your own project. Everything is mentioned in this method toolkit. We compiled all the methods, all the pictorial description of your methods in this C2 source method toolkits, and anyone from any part of the world can develop your own project to measure the intensity of plastic. So this is the beginning of the journey. And what are the next steps? As I mentioned, like we arrange some solution workshop in each site. We also categorize or prioritize some areas that need immediate action for us. So following the solution, we did develop some projects to mitigate plastic pollution in our country, for Bangladesh. So this slide shows one of our World Bank funded project, like gender dimension and identifying job opportunities for female fishers who actually handling the tackling the plastic pollution from fishing nets and also multi-film sachets in fishing communities in Bangladesh. So actually we reviewed about 114 papers, and we found Bangladeshi published paper, and we found women are like contributing a lot in the fisheries sector, especially for the post-harvest activities. So we try to engage them, inspire them. We like during during post-COVID times, we arrange some exhaustive training for the local people in Chor Fashion and Cox's Bazar. So these are the two study sites for this project, and we arrange training for our local people. Like whenever we are doing a science, we try to develop a community, a trained community for implementing our project. So we are not doing the science for our own purpose. We are whenever we are developing a science-based project, we try to engage communities. So we did arrange some training for the community leaders, and then through them we visited some of the sites. We visited different net shops, and like we try to develop a business model, because we feel like if we can empower and engage fishers to repurpose or reuse this fishing net, that will actually reduce the plastic pollution from the fisheries into the rivers or aquatic systems of Bangladesh. So this slide shows the proposed business model and the international market. At that time, we actually proposed an international market like Aquafil. And for this project, we like why I started with a global story, because one of the co-leads of C2 Source Ganges River Expedition, Professor Heather Coldway, she was with us for implementing this project, and this project is also implementing in other part of the Ganges in the India. So both the countries, we started our journey with a global initiative, and then we are working independently in our own countries for reducing plastic pollution. So this is the business model, and we have completed 2 phases, like feasibility and pre-feasibility phases, and now we are waiting for more grants to implement our project. Like maybe like every month we have received the phone call from our local, like Shakila, and the other girl. We are receiving when to start. So we have been counting days to implement this project in these 2 study sites. Like everything is there. Hopefully, in near future, we will be able to start or this project in for the implementation. And then we arranged another science project with the funding from government of Bangladesh, like trophic transfer. We measured the trophic transfer of microplastic in the aquatic ecosystems of Sundarban mangrove forest. And this slide shows the specific study sites, and then the red dots indicates the specific location, and the whole like a method is presenting here, and the variables are like we for the variables we identified the shape, size, color, and also like different for the species, different feeding groups of the different species, and how predator, depending on their feeding habit, we categorize them: predator, deposit feeder, filter feeder, browsers, selective plankton for, and then other variables like we in this slide, actually the right uppermost figure is, this is ongoing project, and we are also trying to understand the impact of plastic in the fish liver, so that it's ongoing experiment. And you can see like from a slide, I can the hepatocyte is like with the when we exposed the fish liver fish to the intensity of plastic, when it is increasing, there is a visible change in the size of the hepatocyte. Hopefully in near future we will be able to share more findings from this study. And also like as a follow-up of the discarded fishing net project, we found like the polymer composition, it is more alarming, like the all the 17 types of fishing net are dominant with the like nylon 6 is their like polymer composition is nylon 6. So this slide shows like we categorize different three types of fishing net. Like some shops, they're selling new net, some are like the reused one, and the other fisheries like fishing materials like floats, ropes. So we visited, we collected data from them, and we did our like riverbank survey, and this ENF, that we are measuring the mesh size of fishing net, and diversity of fishing nets in Cox's Bazar and Chorfation is presenting here. Number of different types of identified fishing nets is this graph is showing the diversity of fishing nets, mesh size in inches, and the price in BDT, length in meters, and how this the life cycle of the fishing nets. And these FDR spectra of various fishing nets, you can see the different types of fish nets here in the graphs. And this slide shows the total litter items. We measured compare the total litter items and the density of litter items, and in Chorfation and Cox's Bazar. And you can see like the total fishing net and fishing other fishing the materials. We can compare the intensity. So this slide shows like approximately 20% of litter at our study sites consisted of fishing net waste, which actually indicate a significant source of pollution that offers potential for removal and recycling. As I mentioned, like whenever we are doing science, we are trying to develop a network with the community, and C4SEM, or Citizen for Coastal Ecosystem Monitoring, is an app that connect that is actually working as a connecting bridge with the scientists at the citizen. Like we can easily communicate with them. We have been developing a data set with the help of this app, and for this support for this project, we actually acknowledge the support from Pogo NANO. And with the using the data from the C4SEM, we actually measured plastic pollution as a silent threat to the whole coastal ecosystem of Bangladesh, and how much we concerned about this threat. We actually discussed, like you can see the color is explaining the single-use plastic waste along the coast, and also the disposable plastic waste along the coast. And also we have registered how many how different types of plastic waste we listed from this data hub. Variation of polymer composition, and we actually did use the pollution hazard index, and also the pollution load index to measure the intensity of plastic as a threat. And we actually compare the data to understand the connection between plastic pollution, climate change, and how together it could be an alarming threat for biodiversity and ecosystem. There is a strong correlation between the global south, high biodiversity hotspot, high food insecurity, and low environmental performance. Using Bangladesh as a case study, we show the erosion rates and sea level rise, the scenarios that will actually increase the ocean-bound plastic pollution, and finally, it will actually impact the high biodiversity areas. And as I discussed, from at the end of the sea to source Ganges River expedition, we were actually trying to implement some proposed solutions. In Bangladesh, the waste management system is not in place. Bangladesh was the first country in the world to ban plastic bags. But why the ban didn't work? I may also invite the response from the participants or the audience here, like why the ban didn't work. So I think there are many options, and one of the proposed solution is a development of a proper waste management plan. So we developed our waste management plan development project. It was another World Bank funded project, and we termed the project as Communities for Tracking and Monitoring Plastic Debris to develop waste management plan for Sundarbans. So here in this project, we also developed a very strong community team, and with them, we trained them, and we actually encourage them to measure the plastic litter in their area. They actually sit together, interacted with each other, and come up with some proposed solution, which is the proper site for developing a waste bin, or what are the waste materials they are spreading here and there. And from the FGDs, from the KIIs, and the photo quadrant survey, we actually trained the local people. We engaged youth to run their photo quadrant survey, their cleanup campaigns, and this slide shows, we try to estimate mostly used plastic items, where we, as I mentioned, we use the communities to estimate these types of what are the mostly used plastic in Sundarbans, what are the who are the key stakeholders, who are the contributing factors, and what are the cost effective and environment friendly alternatives for these materials. So we also try to identify these factors. And this slide shows, as part of this project, we also engage the communities to design and to develop the beach cleanup scheme for Sundarbans, because we actually help them to get engaged and to get together, and we designed with their knowledge, and we designed a realistic beach cleanup scheme, and we arranged two beach clean two or yes two or three beach cleanup campaign in Sundarbans. And this slide actually shows the overall the draft plastic management plan for Sundarbans, targeting the cost-effective and environment-friendly solutions. Here we listed down some short-term, mid-term, and long-term activities. And this is the single-use plastic ban implementation plan. And this is the theory of change approach that we used to develop the plastic waste management plan, and to how to reduce the plastic waste in Sundarbans. So here you can see we identified set the indicators, and we set the outcomes, like short-term, mid-term, and long-terms. And also we identified some barriers and how to overcome all those. And this slide actually summarize what story I shared with you all today. Like, we started with sea to source, then some project, and then some solutions. and what are the next steps? As next steps, we mentioned about some pilot project, and we can implement those with support from others, and we can promote recycling centers, and we can develop some project to reduce the number of single-use plastic, and then we all should work together to implement the strict ban of single-use plastic, and then we can also try and work together to implement the proposed education campaigns and to ensure the sustainability. And this slide shows our team. Like we, as I mentioned, C2 Source actually is a global initiative, and we all are inspired by this global initiative. Now we have been working together. We are like-minded people, and we believe in people, and we strongly believe like if we work together, there will be a sustainable solution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam, for your interesting talk. And now we will have question and answer session. So participants, if you have any question, please raise your hand. You can ask directly, or if you don't want to ask directly, you can just write in the message box. So who is going to ask first question?
If it's okay, I would like to invite the
Yeah,
audience
yeah.
also to answer Dr. Gawsia's question on their guesses or testimonials of why they what happened that they believe that happened to the plastic bag ban that did not work in Bangladesh. What would be their guesses? Do you have one, Shu?
Question? Sorry?
Do you have a guess on why it didn't work, the ban?
Oh, okay. Yes. So it doesn't work because it's very cheap. So if you want to buy a bag, it costs around 10 cent at least, or sometimes it's 6 cent. But with 6 cent, if you pay 6 cent, then you can buy maybe several hundreds of plastic bags. So that is the main reason, this cheap availability of plastic bags. Yeah.
Like we have to ensure the availability of the alternative first before we go for imposing any ban. And another cost, maybe we can hear from the audience, but another cost, like we discussed in group and also with different stakeholders, like when we like imposing the ban, we have to have all stakeholders with us before we start implementing a policy.
So you think the public reaction was not very positive? Or it's just the money, or they really are against? I mean, in Europe, it's also, at least in Portugal where I live, plastic ban, the plastic bag costs about 10 or 15 cents as well. But we have plenty of, it's very easy and available to buy reusable bags. So I think that's one of the reasons why the population accepted. Samuel, you have a question? Or a guess?
Yeah, thank you very much. I actually had a question. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation, madam. I actually had 3 questions, but I'm apologizing for the noises around. I was actually in a field trip. So actually, my first question was like, was there any assessment of the microplastics or the plastic pollutions in the deep sea? Like we had some assessment. I have seen that we have some assessments in the coastal region, but if we have any assessment of microplastic pollution in the deep sea, that was my first question. My second question was like, if we want to reduce the plastic pollution in our country, what should be more prioritized? Is it law implementation or enforcement, or is it public awareness? And my third question was like, I have seen that there was a beach cleanup scheme and it was very organized. So could that be a solution to reduce the current or existing plastic pollution in the tourism areas by engaging the tourists or maybe the students in a structured way, if we do it in a bulk amount? Thank you very much.
Yes, like the first question, deep sea. I think recently one of our teammates, like Alifa, with her other project, she actually collected some water sample, sediment sample, and also some fish sample, like sharks and rays. And hopefully in near future, we will be able to find out some data on deep sea plastic pollution. Maybe that that will be the first time we collect data on deep sea plastic pollution. And then your second question was policy and
Like, what should be more prioritized? Is it law enforcement or public awareness to
public
reduce the
awareness.
plastic pollution?
I think for me, like my individual perception is when we have some, when we are going to introduce a policy or imposing a ban, we have to have some session with the layperson, like the who doesn't have that knowledge to understand the intensity of the pollution or the like the negative impact of plastics, because we have been using it because it is easy getting, it is cheaper than other like we can easily buy a like a shampoo sachet other than a bulk amount because it is easy getting. But when we are introducing a policy, I think public awareness, it should be like an integrated package. Like otherwise it will never work. Like if we start the policy implementation, we should have a long-term session with the community, laypersons, even the layperson, or with the different stakeholders. We can have different session, and with the session, when we are introducing the policy at the we can have a short-term session to like a energizer. How with the science facts will be there. There will be some key message from the policy makers, like we are going to introduce a policy from that date, and we have to have that awareness among people first. So I think like public awareness should get the first priority. When people are aware and we introduce a policy or we are going to impose a ban, it actually help us if people are aware. And then your third question was sorry, when I talked I forgot.
Like, madam, if we
Which
wanted the beach cleanup scheme or the beach cleanup campaign as a solution of reducing the plastic pollution in the tourism areas, is there a feasible option to do that, engaging any kind of stakeholder?
other than tourist?
Yes, madam. It could be like
Tourist.
students, could be
Yeah,
some stakeholders.
like our project, we also targeted different stakeholders. Like we had youth. We could also add religious leader, community, and also as you mentioned, like tourist. And at the end of the presentation, we arranged in Sundarbans, like tour operators. I received email and phone call from the tour operators, like what will be our next step, what they can do for reducing plastic waste in the Sundarbans. So I think it should be a multi-stakeholder scheme.
Yes, madam. Thank you, madam. And the last thing is, like, if we want to do it in a bulk amount, like maybe 100 beach cleanup campaigns or 150 beach cleanup campaigns around the entire coastal region of Bangladesh, could that be a solution to reduce the entire existing plastic pollution in the beach areas?
I think when we are collecting or arranging such beach cleanup campaign, we should have in mind the like the management option. We should have that management option in place first. Like in Sundarbans, we have seen like we are collecting plastics, and all the tour operators express their like, yes, we have a station to dump, but people there are not aware about the facts, and they are not disposing the plastic waste properly. So we have to have that awareness and also have the waste management system in place first.
Yeah, thank you. So next question.
Sunjita Alam.
Yeah,
Hello, myself, Sanjida Alom. I have a question to Gawsia ma'am that the plastic pollution has become a serious problem affecting all living organisms from plants, animals on land to the deep sea. So as a result, this study has become a great important topic, and many researchers, including yourself, are working on this critical topic, given the large scope of the problem and many areas that still need to be more research. So uh, to the solutions or to address critical problems like this kind of, so I think we should need to address some data gaps in order to create effective solutions. So my question is to ma'am is that what specific data gaps do you think need to be addressed to design better control measures for microplastic pollutions?
So actually, I forgot to mention, like we all, those who are working together, we have a common thing, and we already have started to work using the Citizen for the C4SEM, Citizen for Coastal Ecosystem Monitoring project. So that if we can manage this project properly, as we are collecting data, since till to date we have been collecting data using C4SEM app, and Shubroto is the key stakeholder of this data. I think if we can work together, like my dream was to form a plastic pollution mitigation association in Bangladesh, where we can have all the like-minded people. Now we have a small group like SAST, Dhaka University, and some people from other organization. We have been working together. But if we have a common platform and we have that open-minded sharing tendency, and using that C4SIM app, we can form a data hub where we can work together, collaborate with different organizations in the country and also with other countries in the world. I think I can answer you, Sanjita, or you
Yes,
need
ma'am.
more
Thank you, ma'am.
details?
And no, I don't think so. Thank you.
So, Lika, can go ahead.
I'm sorry, Haida was ahead of me. Haida
Oh, okay. So
Kadir.
try that.
Yeah.
Try that.
Um, First of all, thank you, ma'am. It was a very nice presentation. I have two questions. Firstly, you mentioned that you chose 10 study sites while you were doing your research. So I want to know what factors did you consider while you chose those study sites? And secondly, I want to know that you said that plastic pollution caused by fishing is a very vital issue. So I want to know how you can use C4CM to reduce this type of pollution, especially the pollution caused by fishing using C4CM. Thank you.
Answer. First of all, like selecting 10 sites from a transboundary river was not that easy task. For Ganges, it was very hard to select the study sites because there were it was a geopolitical issue, because we have to had to sit together for 3 times in Bangladesh and India to finalize the site. So we had to arrange different session with the government in Bangladesh and India to select the sites. So we actually consider the political issues, then accessibility, then the population size, and with all these data we selected, and also first of all the accessibility. We can access and visit that site. So these are the few parameters to select the 10 study sites. And for fishing debris, like I think in the C4SIM app there is a option, like I have mentioned it in my presentation, like have you seen any plastic material? So when we are distributing the app or the cell phone to the fishers, we had a several session. We had to arrange a several session with the fishers, and when we are introducing the different options to them, there is a plastic types, how many plastic types they are registering. So they can take the photo of plastic debris, like fishery debris from fisheries, and they can register it to the app. Right?
Thank you.
Did you get?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm curious to know if there is a way. So you show on your results that litter can travel quite far, as we know, but seeing numbers, it's a whole other thing. And I was wondering if there is a way for you to identify or estimate a percentage of how much of this litter is local in national level, and how much is international coming from far away? I don't know if by the labels in other languages or something like this.
Yeah, yeah. Like one of my research project, like where I received a PhD student from University of Cambridge, like Isobel. She recently received her PhD degree. So we collected macroplastic data from a heavily polluted lake in Dhaka city. So when we are collecting the macroplastic debris from the lake, we actually identified the labeling and other data. We took the photos by like capturing the photo and details. We actually have been working on that project, so we can identify in that way. We did the same thing for the land liters, but your idea is unique. We can did it for the river or ocean plastics, like how much we are receiving from the other countries, in the land-based in data, like macroplastic debris and leakage into the Ganges. I mentioned we categorize the liters, like explaining the photos, the source. So we identified most of the liters are international, like 20% of the liters we categorized are actually international brand. So we can easily do it for the water aquatic systems.
Okay, thank you. There's a question in the chat by Pooja Mitra. Hello, ma'am. This is Pooja from SUST. I was wondering what types of issues or problems you have faced while trying to engage the local community, and how did you solve them?
Actually, sometimes I actually manage the project in a way we didn't have much like a risk or issues much in the engaging communities. As I mentioned, while Shubhrata was introducing me, I was I am one of the board members of one of the leading conservation organization, WildTeam. For Sundarbans, they have a strong community connections. So when we work there, actually we have a strong network with them. And when you are exposing yourself to the field, you have to have that mechanism to get yourself like a part of the community. So sometimes we have to have some mechanism, like when we are arranging the community meeting, at the very beginning we can express like we are here to work for you, to save the river, to protect the river from the plastic pollution, and you are the stakeholders. You have to maintain something like some strategic direction. But when we are exposing by being a women scientist working in a community, we always have some issues in mind, as a part of protection, where while we are working for Sea to Source Ganges River Expedition, like we visited many remote areas in India. So at that time, we actually carry some self protection, like red chili powder and other things with us. We always accompanied by a very protective team, but some self protection always help women while we are working or exposing ourselves in the field. So self mechanism, interacting with each other, and when you have a mentors, you can always take suggestion from them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Pooja, for your question. And we have another question from Hamim Chowdhury. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. Hamim, also from SUST. Will there be any similar project with Myanmar as well, since we share a border with them?
Like I'm not aware about such a project. Maybe I can share if I have any information about such project.
Thank you, Hamim. Shubrata, do you have any final question or comment?
No, I just want to thank Sir Gawsia ma'am for our time, and thanks for sharing your interesting research with us. So We hope it will be helpful for everyone. Thank you very much. And maybe
Thank
we'll
you.
meet in another webinar.